Well, happy first day of meteorological winter, everyone. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with SouthernIndianaWeather.com. Thanks for logging on to tonight's latest long-range update. Not a whole lot going on here today. We've had some sprinkles around the area, and just more of a gray, annoying day than anything, but we are starting to see just a little bit of clearing starting to work in, at least, as we turn on our satellite view. You can see there's the clearing line out to our west. We'll go under more of a partly cloudy sky tonight as things start to push out. You can see a low pressure here up to our north. In fact, even some snow up to our north. That'll rotate through the area tomorrow, so we might have another isolated shower chance tomorrow. Maybe even a snow flurry as things cool down tomorrow night, but nothing really significant coming out of this. In fact, not bad temperature-wise either as far as that's concerned if we just turn on our temperatures around the area. Still looking at pretty decent temperatures around the area with temperatures in the mid-40s for most places, lower 40s and upper 30s as you head to the north. But that's really not bad for being after dark this time on the 1st of December. So we'll most certainly take that. Now, what can we expect from here? So let's talk then a little bit about what we can expect over the next couple of weeks. Where's winter? Is there any sign of winter? Well, right now, no major sign of winter in sight. Here's that rain mass, though. We'll look at the GFS. There's that rain system moving out. There's that low pressure rotating up to our north, and you can see maybe just a very slight chance late tomorrow evening of either a stray shower during the day tomorrow, or maybe changing over to some light snow flurries tomorrow night in the area. I don't think most would see anything. It would be an isolated chance at best, but that rotates out of here. High pressure goes large and in charge. We do start to warm up for the weekend as the winds start to turn more out of the southerly direction, but really the next rain system doesn't occur until you get into early next week, and actually the latest models are wanting to kind of remove that chance from us more toward the east coast. We'll keep it in there for now, but those rain chances are getting less and less the way things are looking right now. So next significant rain chance really doesn't come for a decent little while as you head into the outlook. But it does look like, the GFS gives some chances at some rain going to snow on the backside. But again, that's so far out. That's going to be a little far-fetched at this point. So again, here's that rain moving out. You can see some snow showers mixing in possibly tomorrow to our north. That's what the blue is starting to indicate. It's starting to indicate maybe some rain changing over to some light snow showers there. In fact, there are some hints that even some of those stray showers that move through our area might turn over to a few flurries. But again, it's nothing to write home about. Temperatures will stay plenty above freezing at the time those occur before that system finally exits here. But here's the good news. Well, good news depending on who you talk to. If you're not a fan of winter, if you don't like snow, well, then I've got great news for you for the next couple of weeks. It looks like we're in for a fairly warm start to December. In fact, the latest outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center for the next 6 to 10 days, pretty much the entire country in an above normal pattern as you swing out to 8 to 14 days, continued in that above normal pattern. And well, let me just show you the temperature span here from the GFS ensembles. This is just the raw numbers from the model plotted on here. What I've done is I've taken that chart and I've actually made the red line on here and given you your average highs for the beginning and the ending of the period, put a line on it just to give you an idea of how far above normal we're going. So we made it up close to 50 degrees around much of the area today. It was in the upper 40s to near 50. Tomorrow will be just about another repeat, maybe getting close to 50 again here. But 47's our average high today. That falls off pretty quickly, though. By the time you get to mid-December, you're already down to 40 for your average high. But just look with me how far above normal we're going to be at some points in time, especially as you get a little bit later on the outlook. Maybe a couple of days where we're on the cooler side of normal here, but much more above normal than what we see below normal. So I think these maps, I don't always agree with the Climate Prediction Center, as you've followed me. If you've followed me for any length of time, you certainly know that, but I think it's certainly justified. Right now, it looks very, very warm. The indices agree with this, by the way. If we take a look at our friends, the Arctic Oscillation, remember, a negative AO means cold air from Canada is on the move down and is available to be moved down, and what we see it is firmly in the positive. All these different bubbles are different ensemble members showing you what was forecast. So you can see the GFS does certainly have some issues. The blue line is analyzed what actually happened. The white circles here are what you want to look at as far as the average of the models right now. But you can see the average is certainly forecasting it to be in the positive. No major Arctic outbreak occurring here. North Atlantic Oscillation, again, another big one that we would look at. You want this to be negative, a negative NAO. If you want snow and sustained cold, you want that negative. It's not, it's positive. You want it negative because negative basically puts a blocking high pressure out in the North Atlantic Ocean, closes it off, and forces systems to slow down and not move very fast over us. That helps to bottle up and trap that cold air over us. When it's very positive like this, systems can just move very fast out to sea. Again, that's what we're seeing right now, is just coming and going of these systems in a fairly quick manner. And so that continues on at least through mid-December, the way things look right now. So both of the indices that we would look at, a couple of the main ones here, yeah, very much showing that. So, but what's going on? Why do we see that? Well, let me give you just a little bit of a hint here for those that would like to dive into this a little bit further. This is, by the time we warm up this weekend, this is what we're seeing. And I want you to just sort of see the air mass here of what we're looking at. Notice right here, you've got these lines moving in. In fact, it might help if I just turn on. Let's go to yellow here. Notice these lines are basically where your area, this is equal pressure, but this is indicating our wind movement. This helps us know our source region. So here we are right here. Let's kind of track back where our source region of air is. Our source region of air is coming here from the ocean, from the Pacific Ocean. We'll call this a continental, or rather, excuse me, a maritime Pacific air mass. Whenever we have the brutal Arctic outbreaks, what usually happens is we see air masses coming down from here, continental polar or continental Arctic, but that's not what we have. We have our source region over here right now, and so because our source region is over here, what happens is the air moves on shore, and it's much warmer air mass over the ocean than what it is over the continent. So as it moves on, it goes over the Rocky Mountains, and well, by the way, folks, what happens, you think, well, the air descends, it ought to be cooler over the Rocky Mountains, right? No, actually what happens is the air descends over the Rocky Mountains. What happens is a process that we call compressional heating, and that air compresses as it falls near the ground, and it heats up as it does that. What happens is you end up with a hotter air mass. It warms up even a little bit over here, so that by the time it exits and heads over us, there's really no chance of it being cool air at all, even though it's moved over the mountains. It's a mild air mass, and so whenever you see this kind of air mass moving over the mountains and heading over to us, you have almost zero chance of any sustained cold weather. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And that's exactly what it looks like we're going to see for the next couple of weeks, is this basic pattern going on. That's what the data is showing up as. That's what you're seeing to show up in our teleconnections here as well, our oscillations. All of it's pointing to the fact that we are going to be in an above normal type of period. So, well, if you're a snow lover, folks, that's bad news, because outside of just a small flurry chance tomorrow, and I mean it is small, 10 or 20% chance any of us see some flurries on the backside of the system, that's pretty much it for the next couple of weeks. And I'll tell you this, there is some chances that maybe later on in December we might see some cold snaps. Some of the very long-range modeling, which I'm not going to show you here, but some of the very long-range modeling is indicating closer toward Christmas time we might start to see some sharp cool downs. But that's way far off, and that those models change all the time. So it's worth noting that the potential is there. But what I'm seeing right now is just no significant cool down, at least over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that the rest of December is partly going to be looking similar. Now, I think the later we get into the month, the more cold snaps that we may end up having. But right now, I'm thinking these cold snaps are going to be very close. So even if we do end up with a sharp cool down in here, it's going to rise up pretty quickly. You're getting a preview of that right here over the next couple of days, but you see it rises pretty quickly again, and here's a front moving through, and you're going to be a cool down as the model data starts to move out. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see those temperatures start to moderate out kind of again. So I think we're going to be well above normal. By the way, this was my forecast. If you go to southernindianaweather.com, hover over winter, click on 2015-16 final winter forecast. You can see I released this back in October, but you can get this if you haven't viewed it yet. But my thinking is basically that we're going to be in the zone of those wild temperature swings, and we're going to be in sort of the battleground there. And because of that, basically, here's my forecast. I've got some highlights on there that you can go read, but wild temperature swings is what I'm forecasting. And I think as I forecasted back in October, I forecasted a very slow start to winter. In fact, I said December looks warm. I forecasted this 2 months ago, folks, and that's exactly what we're starting to see now. Again, the warmth may last the first part of January, but if the switch starts to occur to a cooler pattern, that was my thinking then, and that's still my thinking now. I think that's valid. It's all going to depend on how fast this El Nino starts to subside. There are some signs that it will subside a little bit over the wintertime. How quickly it fades is going to determine how quickly we end up getting any chances to have some decent cold shots sustain themselves outside of more than a day or two moving kind of a fast system. I really think it's going to be a slow start to winter. I think December is going to go down in the books as being pretty mild across the country here. January may be a different story. I think it may start out mild, but it's again, by the time you get later into January, that's when I think the heart of winter comes. And by heart of winter, late January to February, that's what I'm meaning the worst of the cool weather. In fact, it may even hold off until February. I think overall, those who are predicting this to be a brutally cold winter are going to be sorely disappointed. I think that we're going to have some colder snaps the later we go into winter, but I do not think this is going to be one of those winters where we're going to be cold all winter long. It's just, that's not what this winter is shaping up to be. It's going to be one of those, it's probably fairly mild for at least half of the winter for the first half, and that might even end. If El Nino decides not to fade off, as what the modeling is showing it is, we might get burned and have a mild winter all winter long, and for I know a lot of you that would not surprise you. But I do think it will fade as we start to get into winter a little bit more. That's why I'm thinking that February may be a pretty rough month. But again, it's early. That's an early guess for this, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But you can read more of the details. You can watch the video that goes there. Just go to southernindianaweather.com. And over the winter tab, you can find that for those that are indeed interested. But there it is. I released that 2 months ago. It's already starting out as I predicted, so things are going good right now. I'll plan to release an update to that in early January to kind of update on where we are with the winter forecast. For right now, let's go take a look at our 10-day. You can go to southernindianaweather.com and get this. Click on 10-day. Again, tonight, mid-30s for your low. Skies begin to clear out a little bit tonight. We're actually going to see some sunshine tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be a completely cloudless day, especially with that low pressure moving up to our north. It's going to be kind of a mix of sun and clouds, but we'll see that bright orange ball in the sky. Don't be scared of it. No, we haven't seen it since Thanksgiving. It's kind of a strange sight, but we'll actually be able to see it. An isolated shower possible. Maybe for you winter lovers, an isolated flurry later in the day, but don't hold your breath on that. Then the cool weather kind of continues. Our average high, remember, is 47, so we've got a couple of reasonably seasonable days, but it warms back up again nicely for the weekend into the 50s. By the way, Monday and Tuesday, questionable about the rain. I've only got it at 30% chances. The latest GFS wants to take those rain chances virtually off the table for us. We'll see as it gets closer to time. This may end up being more of a partly sunny day, and the shower chances may even come out of there. It just kind of depends. Those are a little up in the air. Confidence real low in those right now. Other than that, it looks pretty dry, but temperatures going back into the 50s. And again, I showed you the outlook. Warm weather is on the way. Warm as far as December standards go. This wasn't warm in September, obviously, but this is much warmer than what we would expect to see. And in fact, it looks like by the time you get into some of these time later in the month, we could be 10 to 15 degrees above normal. And that's certainly a very, very mild, slow start to winter, just as I predicted. Let's hope the rest of the winter forecast goes as well as it is so far. But that's where we stand right now, folks. Enjoy this warm weather while it lasts. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. That's your long-range outlook for today, the first day of meteorological winter 2015 and 16. Have a great night, folks.